All right, and we are live.
Awesome.
Welcome, everybody.
So, hello everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. I think most of you probably know me, but if you don't, my name is Liz Lackard, and I'm a marketing consultant who loves helping small business owners get more of the right kind of traffic to their business, or to their business websites, and more out of that traffic. I'm a small business owner myself, and most of the time it's just me. So although I wanted to have this training today to help you guys with what you've told me you need help with, creating more space in your business and kind of streamlining your success with some nice systems, I selfishly wanted to have Natasha on so I could learn some of her organizational system secrets in my own project management tool of choice, Asana. So I'm so excited for today's training. If you're anything like I was before I got started with project management and systems, you are starting to feel the pressure of all the things there are to do in your business, and maybe you feel like every time you start a new task, whether that's bringing on a new client or just trying to schedule a chat with someone, you feel like you're reinventing the wheel each time it's time to do that. You feel like the business part of your business is taking too much time, and you're really starting to feel the overwhelm. But you feel like maybe not everyone runs their business this way, and there has to be an easier way, and spoiler alert, there is. But I'm so excited for Natasha Vormovia to give us this training today. Natasha is a business systems specialist who helps service professionals to run their businesses with efficiency and ease. She comes to the rescue when they just can't get to the stuff that matters, because the stuff that doesn't matter always gets in the way. I've personally hired Natasha to help me with some of my own business systems, and I know you're going to get a lot of awesome takeaways from what she has to share today. Whether you're totally solo in your business, or you have a small team, or even if you're not working with Asana, you're going to get some awesome takeaways from today's training. So without further ado, let me hand it off to the queen of systems today, Natasha. So go ahead, Natasha, take it away.
Thank you so much, Liz. Thank you for such a beautiful introduction. So the way we are going to structure today's call is that first I'm going to share with you how you can run one of the most important systems in for small online businesses using Asana, and then I'll share with you how you can create your own business operations manual. And right now I'll share with you my screen so that you can see my Asana. And if at any point something changes and you stop seeing my screen, so let me go into the right project. So here I am. Just leave a comment if something doesn't look right, and Liz will alert me. And also, if during the presentation you have any comments, feel free to post them right under the video. There is a comments area, so you can always make a comment or leave a question there. So we'll be keeping an eye on it as well. So let's begin then. I mentioned to you that one of the things I'll be sharing with you is how to create your own business manual. But why would you need one, especially if you have a small business and maybe even when you run your business by yourself? Well, the reason is that when we are first starting out and laying the foundation for our business, we are busy, but there is time and place for everything we do. But then things start to pick up. We receive more inquiries for information, we bring in more clients, our services, the number of services we offer grow, and so every area of our business demand more and more time and energy. So in order to keep up, the only way we can do it is to scale our efforts. And that is actually our make it or break it moment, because we can't really scale our businesses if we've never formalized our procedures. And our half-formed systems start breaking down if we haven't. And I know that it might sound a bit scary to have procedures for a small business. So what I want to explain to you is what I mean by a procedure or system. And like this word will be coming up over and over again, and I just want to tell you that it is not as intimidating as it sounds. When I say system, I mean a routine, this sequence of steps that you take in order to get from point A to point B. And when it's this very sequential step by step, what it allows you to do is make sure that you produce the same outcome time and time again. And the types of processes that you can create systems for are basically the ones that you do on a regular basis in your business, which is writing blog posts, publishing your podcasts, writing guest posts, creating new products, launching them, doing client intake or managing those clients. So practically everything that you do on an ongoing basis can be turned into a system from the moment that you outline that step by step. But now that you imagine how many all these individual systems your business consists of, if you think about all these things that you do on day-to-day basis, you realize that it might get a bit challenging to manage them all. So in order for you not to actually have this one more big thing on your to-do list is like managing your systems, it's good to find a tool that helps you to do that. And ideally, it's a tool that allows you to do several things at once, like Asana. So what I want to show you today is how Asana can help you to run your business day to day, how you can run your business practically entirely through Asana. And today I will give you 3 examples. We will look at your email management, then we'll talk a bit about client intake and managing clients. And lastly, the third system that we'll discuss will be nurturing relationships, because as you know, it's one of the most important things that we have to be doing very consistently. But before we go into systems, I just want to give you a very quick overview of Asana if you've never worked with it before. So the way Asana displays information is across these 3 panes, and from a broader level of organization on the left to a more specific one on the right. So on the left, you will see shortcuts to your task list, your inbox, and your inbox is a place where that shows you what happened in Asana since last time you logged in. It might not be as useful when you use Asana by yourself, but when you add more people who you share your Asana with, this place is very helpful, because you don't really need to go from project to project and see who did what. You can just go into your inbox and it will show what tasks were completed, what tasks were added, if anybody left a comment. So this is really, really a terrific tool to use once you start collaborating with others using Asana. This area is the shortcuts area. Basically, what you can do is make a project a favorite, which creates this little shortcut, so it's easy for you to access it from here. You don't need to search for it through the list of the rest of your projects that are located right here on the lower part of this left pane or left-hand side. What you can also see is the list of people who you've shared your Asana with. And here you will see people who you share your entire Asana with. You might know that you can share also individual projects with people, but those people will be your Asana guests. They will not be listed right here, so only people who you share your entire Asana with will be on this list. So this is when it comes to the very left-hand side. And the left-hand side is relatively static, but the middle pane changes depending on which project you go to. So the middle pane displays tasks, and depending what project you go to, it will display tasks pertaining to that specific project. This will be the area that displays search results if you run a search, and you can see that there is this search function right here in the left upper corner. And also the middle part will display your tasks when you go into My Tasks. So basically what you can see there is a list of individual tasks that pertain to something that you've asked for basically on the left hand side. And then on the right hand side, what you can find is information about each task you selected in the middle. And this is the part that allows you to turn Asana into information, communication, and collaboration hubs. Because here you will see the title of the task, the project or projects this task belongs to. There is the description area. You can assign tasks to different people, as we mentioned, people you've shared your entire Asana with, or just guests. You can also set a due date. You can add attachments or give links. Links like Google Drive documents or Dropbox documents are live in Asana, so it comes pretty handy to add information to explain how something is done, or give examples of individual tasks or something of the kind. And this is the area also where you can have conversations with others. So this is the comments box, and it allows you to take these conversations about tasks and projects from your inbox and keep them all here, so that whenever you're working on a project, you can rely on Asana to check what's been discussed and what's been agreed on. So this is very briefly overview of Asana. I will be coming back to some of the features later on, but if something is unclear, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll be happy to come back to it at the very end. So now let's talk about email management. And for us online business owners, we rely on email very heavily. And the problem is that when we let our inbox dictate what we are working on next, we put other things, possibly very important things, on the back burner so that we can handle other people's requests. So some of those emails will definitely need your attention. So I'm not saying that you should not be vigilant when it comes to new emails and communication with people in your network, be that clients, partners, or somebody else. But you've got to set boundaries so that these requests are not driving your days. So if a simple solution for that would be creating an inbox processing routine. It can be as straightforward as you open your inbox, you scan your messages, and delete obvious spam. And if you're using something like Gmail and your social media notifications and newsletters are separate from emails that you actually need to check quite regularly, it's very good. Please keep that feature, because then you can scan your messages very quickly and see which ones you need to look at one by one. So that will be the next step. Actually process the rest of the messages, and then you can move on to something else. But let me just give you, explain to you what I mean by processing. It's not just opening an email, making a mental note that something needs to happen, and moving to the next email. If you do that, then that email will stay in your inbox. You might forget about it, or you will feel that you have to take care of it right away, otherwise you'll forget about it. So you have to take action about each message. So if it's something that requires your immediate attention or can be taken care of in a couple of minutes, yes, spend time on responding to that email. But if it's something that requires action, but it doesn't have to happen right away, feel free to forward those emails into Asana. When you forward an email into Asana, it's turned into a task. So you basically add that email to your to-do list, and you can come back to it when you have time to do it, or when you assign time for yourself to.
Natasha, can I just say that this is awesome? I need a system for my inbox, and I kind of didn't even realize you could forward emails into Asana, but I think this is a great example of the kind of systems you're sharing with us, where the general inbox system is something you can take away, even if you're not a personal user of Asana, but this is just great. So, carry on.
Okay, terrific. You can still see my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay, terrific. So types of emails that you can forward into Asana. It can be requests for a quote. Of course, if it's something that you can give right away, please do so. But if you need to make an estimate, if you need to consult with somebody else, leave it and come back to it, even if it's in a couple of hours. First, work on something that you've been working on, something that's more urgent. Other types of emails can be invitations to collaborate, or emails where you've been conversing with somebody and what they're asking you requires you to maybe consult your scheduler or do some research. So anything of that kind can definitely be forwarded into Asana. And forwarding emails into Asana is very, very easy. All you need is this email address, x@mail.asana.com. And this email address is the same for all Asana users. And the way Asana differentiates between all these different users and decides where that email needs to be forwarded to which account is it connects the account that the email address you've linked to your Asana with your Asana account. So if you want to see what email Asana will recognize, you can go into your settings, and you can see here in the lower left corner there should be your name, and you can click on this little arrow and go into account settings. You will need to pick from email, and that will be the place where you will see what email you recorded when you created your Asana account, in case you don't remember. And that will also be the place where you can add other email addresses. So you have several email accounts that you are receiving messages to. You can add all of them and make sure that whenever you want to forward something into Asana, it safely comes into your Asana. When you send something into Asana using this email address, x@mail.asana.com, it will be coming into your My Tasks. And it will look exactly like this. So this is one of the emails I forwarded earlier. So it will appear in this under New Tasks category. It will be in bold and with this little blue dot next to it. And you might also notice that the subject line of the email will be turned into the title of the task, and the body of the email will be turned into description of the task. If there were any attachments, they'll be added here as well. Oops. What you can do from here is that by default, everything that comes into My Tasks will be assigned to you, but you are welcome to reassign it to somebody else. So as you can see, I have only a couple of people here and quite a few people on this list, and this is something that I mentioned earlier, that there's a few people, more than one people who I've shared my Asana with, and all of them will pop up on this list, but here you will see only the person that I've shared my entire Asana with. So that's just a side note. What you can also do here is assign the due date. So if it is something time sensitive, or you want to make sure that you reply by a certain date, make sure to put a date right here. And if you click on it, you'll see this little calendar, and you will be able to set a due date for this task.
I love the due date feature. If I don't put a due date on a project, stuff doesn't get done. So I love this.
Absolutely, it's really super useful, and we'll come back to it, and I'll show how to set repeating tasks when we talk about relationship building. But now let's Okay, we'll look at treating emails once they are in Asana. So just to sum up what we talked about here is that when you turn emails into Asana, you are ensuring that you will not be forgetting about them, or maybe missing great opportunities, or having to apologize whenever you delayed with the response, or just like those emails will be sitting in your inbox making you feel guilty, and you go back to them all the time to kind of you want to answer, and then you close it again and move on to something else. So and you end up wasting time. So you don't really find yourself in that situation. Make sure that you respond to something that you need to respond to right away, but the rest respond to it on your own terms when it's time for you to actually sit down and reply to your emails. All right, so now let's talk about client intake. And I included this system in our must-have systems list today, because formalizing your client intake is really, really important. And you need to do it for two reasons. One is that you need to ensure that you create a uniform experience for your clients. And if you do that, they'll feel taken care of, and they'll feel that they are in the hands of an expert. And two is that you need to simplify client intake for yourself. Because if you have just a handful of clients, you can remember who needs to send you what, or who you need to follow up with about something. But as you add more and more clients, or maybe at some point you'll be running a high-end group program, you'll go crazy if you keep relying on your memory when you take your clients through this client intake. And by client intake, I mean it's this time frame process that happens between them saying yes to working with you and you actually starting to work with them and delivering either service or working with them like on the digital product. It depends, but that's the period of time. So let me show you how you can do that. And this is something that I've created for myself, so feel free to steal it. So this is my client's project, and I'll give you just a quick overview of how I structured it so that it makes sense. So I've created a new basic project, labeled clients, and the very first part of practically every process I've turned into a system has templates as the first category. And if you want to create a category right here, let me just quickly tell you, you can just type a task. Now let me show it to you right here. Okay, task, and then put column, and then it creates a little category, and then you can go on and list regular tasks. So that's another side note. So you have this series of templates, and when it comes to client management, you have client intake for every offering you need a client intake for, and then a structure to work with your clients, but we'll come back to that in a bit. So let me give you an example. Oh, and here I have different categories of clients. I have potential clients, I have active clients, and past clients. So here is what happens. Here is my client intake template. And again, these steps happen once we've had a diagnostic consultation and the client has agreed to move forward. So I send them the contract. Then, if necessary, I follow up that the contract has been signed. Then invoice goes out. Once it's paid, the client receives the welcome package. And basically, it's a document that helps me to set boundaries where I explain how they can set up their sessions with me, what happens if they had to miss a session, all these different details that help the client know what, if there is an emergency, what they need to do. Then I'll set up the client in Asana, and that I will show you in a second, and then we start working with them. something that I mentioned earlier is that Asana can be a fantastic information hub, and this is a great example of that. In my client intake template, I also included my templates of proposals, contract, welcome packet. So whenever I need to create those documents for the new client, I can just simply go and select the template and proceed with tweaking it for that specific client. So I don't need to go and look for those documents. I know where they are, and if I just go to my Dropbox, I'll be able to find them. But what might happen is that during that time I remember something, or I'll think of something else, and it will take me more than necessary to find that document. So that it doesn't happen, so that I just eliminate the possibility of distraction, I make sure that I have everything at my fingertips. So this is my my client intake step by step. When you create yours, think about the experience you want to create for your clients, and also what makes sense for you, and outline it in a similar manner. And what will happen afterwards is that once you have that template, when you get a new client, all you do is you come right here, make a copy of this task, rename it with the name of the client, say Sarah Hill. And you can see that leave all these things checked, so that when Asana creates for you a copy of this task, all these pieces are kept as well. So all you need to do is start going through the steps. And
Natasha, I have to say, this is one system that you inspired me to set up a while ago, and it has saved me so much hassle and so much time. This is one system I'm really good about, and I use Asana for it, so I'm really glad you're walking us through it.
Okay, terrific. So you'll share with us how or if you use it differently. So I'm curious to hear.
I think I use it pretty much the way you're using it.
Nice.
It's fairly similar.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I don't think I could share anything extra.
Okay, awesome. All right, so once you created a copy of a task, it will be actually created in the same category as the previous one. So all you need to do is drag it, and you could just drag it into the right category. So say Sarah Hill becomes an active client. She is right here. You can see that if you click on the task, it will display all these individual pieces that we just talked about. And as you go through each step, you can simply check them off. So you will know at any point where you and your clients are in this client intake process. So it will be very easy for you to just go back to where you left off. And this is also a great way to manage client intake when some of the steps can be done by your assistant, because all you will need to do is say, this follow-up can be done by my assistant. I can go to this little person, assign the task to my assistant, and she will know that this will be something that she's responsible for. And I can assign it way before I even got here. So whenever she will receive this task on her task list, she will know that, okay, Natasha is going through the client intake process. She will know approximately how soon she will have to be doing follow-up. And in this case, it's something small, but if your assistant will be involved in a larger project, then they'll be able to prepare for to make sure that their schedule allows to work on that piece of the project. So you will make it easier for them to help you. So this is great, whichever way you look at it. So do take care of the structure, because you will find it very useful. And I'm so happy, Liz, that you find it useful too. All right, so something that I mentioned earlier in the client intake part is that I set up the client in Asana. And here is the for this specific package, here is the template that I use. And again, this is something that reflects my methodology. When you create yours, go back to and think about how you work with your clients, what are those milestones you create for them, how you are collaborating with them to make sure that you produce for them the results that they came to you for. For me, what makes sense is that first I list the priorities, basically the systems that we'll be working on. Then I write down the goal we are working towards, something that client really, really wants to achieve out of our working together, because most often than not, it's not systems, it's something else that they want to get, whether it's more time or taking their business to the next level, being able to scale what they do. So I make sure that I know that. Then there are milestones and timelines, and all documents that have been signed or sent to the client are also added here, either as attachment, or I give links to those documents so that if I need to reference something, I can always look at that, find that document very quickly. Here are the systems that we'll be working on, and these are set as subtasks, which you can do from here. This is the place where you can create a subtask. And again, as we go through each system and that system is set up and completed, I just check them off. So again, this helps me to keep track of where we are. And one more thing that helps me to keep track of where I am with the client, this is mini template within larger template. It's a list of prompts that I go through after each meeting with the client to make sure that I recorded the client's wins, the client's struggles, what we discussed that day and what we planned to discuss the following time, what was the homework, and even observations about myself if there is something that I should really look into or improve next time. So again, this helps me to know where I am with that specific client. These are, come back, these are recorded as notes. Okay, right here. So basically, I copy it into this comments area, and so that the very last one appears on the top, I use this little pin thingy. So and you can use this feature in other, when you deal with something else. If you want a comment to be pinned to the top of the comments, use this little pin button, and it will do exactly that. So again, I start working with a new client, I come here, I make a copy in the same way like I did for Sarah here, and go through the steps. And this is how you can manage your clients as well. And this specific structure will be more useful for service-oriented businesses. For if you're working with your clients and you're working on projects, then it might make sense to set up an entire project for them. But even if you are, say you are an editor and you are working with somebody and on a regular basis you edit blog posts for them, so what you can do is set up in a similar way a task for a client, and as subtasks list these individual assignments that are being sent to you. And once you've done each one of them, you can check it off and move forward. But this will ensure that you did not forget about something, and you don't force your client to follow up with you if you are late on something. Again, you can set due dates even for individual subtasks, and that will create the most amazing experience for your clients. So that's why I think Asana is a fabulous place to manage clients and keep information about them at your fingertips. All right, Liz, do you want to jump in before I move forward to relationships?
No, you're doing great. I'm just keeping an eye on the comments. I don't know if we've mentioned that if you do have a question for Natasha or me about systems or anything that she's talking about, if you're on the event page, you can leave a comment below. If you're on Twitter, I kind of just started a hashtag systems20 if you have a question there. But Natasha, you're doing great. Keep going.
Okay, terrific. I'm just checking my other screen right here for comments as well. Okay, we're good so far. Okay, so the last system that I wanted to share with you is building and maintaining relationships. And it's also one of the core and very, very important systems, because regardless how great we are at what we do, we really, really have to have a solid network that helps us to propel our business forward. So we really have to create a structure for ourselves to keep in touch with these key people in our network and consistently add new people to our network. But if we don't have system, and I'm very, very much guilty of that. If I don't have those reminders for myself, it's so easy to forget to follow up with somebody or push it to the back burner because there are more important things. There are more important things all the time. So it's good to have a structure. And there is a number of tools. Well, the tool that you use to manage your relationships is called a CRM, Client Relationship Management software. And there is a number of amazing tools out there, and I've tested a number of them, and there were a couple that I loved a lot. But what I realized is that, first of all, I can easily turn an Asana project into a CRM, and it's easier for me to keep everything in the same place rather than go back and forth and adding another tool to my toolbox. At some point, when your business gets bigger and you want to do it, sure. But for many small businesses, creating your own CRM in Asana is enough for you to actually consistently start following up with your key people.
I'm really excited about this one. I need this one.
Cool. So again, the structure of the project is practically the same. And in order to create a project, you will go right here on the left-hand side and click on the plus button, and that will prompt this little window with different types of projects, but just go for the basic project. You'll label it Keep in Touch, My Contacts, My Network. Really, it's up to you what to call it. But from here, first of all, have your template. It's important. And then list contacts and group them in these different categories. And it will depend on who you want to keep in touch with. So this can be media, peers and friends, industry leaders, partners. It can be whatever groups that you have in your network. Put them right here. And in your template, what you're going to list is these different pieces of information that you want to collect about that person eventually. So on my template, I have the business name, the website, contact info, affiliations. Also, I mention where they hang out online, what we have in common, what I can offer, kind of ideal scenario. Wouldn't it be great if this happens? At some point, if I know their birthday, I add that as well. Your template doesn't have to be this elaborate, but make sure that you have at least their contact info and notes why you think they'll be valuable to your network and what you could offer in return, because these pieces of information will help you to start the conversation and grow it from there. And again, you've identified what information you want to keep about this person. You created this little template for yourself, and every time you want to add a new contact, you come here, you click on this little arrow, make a copy, and just go through the steps. You fill out all these details, or as much as you know about that person at that point. And very importantly, what you need to do is that, so this was another example that I set up earlier. So just recording the person will not help much, or not for a long time. What you have to do is set a due date for yourself when you want to follow up with them. So depending on the type of the contact, the frequency of follow-up will be different, but Asana will allow you to do that and will prompt you when it's time to follow up with someone. And additionally, what it will allow you to do is to make this task repeat with a certain frequency, so that you don't really need to set up these reminders for yourself time and time again. What you can do is come to your right here. So you have daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. So these are standard options.
Natasha, we've lost your screen. I don't know if you can reshare it.
Oh, let me see. Okay.
I mean, what you're sharing is still really awesome. Anyway, I was about to interrupt you and let you know that I'm absolutely stealing the recurring deadline for following up with people you're trying to grow a relationship with. That is something I had not thought of. So absolutely takeaway.
Well, okay, let me, because we are at the end of that part anyway, so I did show you most of it. So you saw that I set up a template for myself. I make a copy of that template when I add a new person and set it to repeat. And if you use that feature code periodically, then you can select something that is not given on that list. So you have, for example, their weekly and monthly, but if you select periodically and say every 14 days, then it will be every 2 weeks. So that is kind of like way around if you don't see on the list that frequency that you are looking for. So that will definitely make it easier for you to remember when to follow up with whom, and your relationships will people in your network will definitely feel that you remember about them, and next time you want to ask for something for a favor, you will not feel uncomfortable that you haven't talked to them in several months, and now there is something that you need to ask of them. And so Asana will be absolutely perfect for that, and you don't need to use another tool.
I feel like I should do this with my family too.
We all do. That's true. So that's why so these are only 3 areas that we looked at. Like I mentioned, you can turn Asana into your business management hub very easily and manage practically all of your systems there. And one of the questions that I usually get is that, okay, if I'm ready to create systems, where do I start? What systems I should create first? So my answer to that is that look at systems that affect your bottom line and systems that affect your well-being. And for our small online businesses, a lot of times it's client intake, that we discussed, and client management. It's content creation, whether that's blogging or podcasting. It's social media and relationship building. So those 4 are pretty critical. So I would recommend, if you were to start with systems, create with those 4. And that's one of the reasons why in the program that I will be launching in a few days, Systematic Success, those are these systems that we are creating together with the participants. What I noticed is that what allows us to find time for our systems work, because it's not something that many people are excited about. So like I'm geeking out, but not everybody does. But what helps is that if we work on systems in small pockets of time, and it's something that happens, like there's exact step by step that they're following. They don't really have to guess how to apply theory. they have very, very clear steps how they can set up the systems that match their personality and their business model. And another big benefit, and this is the very first time I'll be trying it, but I'm super excited that we'll be creating systems directly in Asana. So we'll actually be sharing projects. So the materials will be delivered as series of tasks. So they will not be going from one platform and trying to see how to apply it, say, to Asana. The instructions will be given specifically for Asana so that you don't really have to do any guesswork. So plus there'll be a great community, and it's always helpful to have support group and people who you can go back to ask questions and just ask for best practices. So if you are looking for you're looking to structure your business better, check out Systematic Success. And Liz, I'll let you.
Sure, just had to unmute myself. Yeah, so Natasha has done an awesome job today sharing a lot of free information with us. And just to full disclosure, if you decide to join Systematic Success today with Natasha, who is like the queen of systems, I may get an affiliate commission from that, but I really don't do these sorts of things unless it's someone that I trust and that I've worked with before and whose work I fully support. You know, like I said, I've hired Natasha directly to help me with my system. I've been inspired by her to save so much kind of just headspace and time in my business from implementing some of these systems that she's walked through today in Asana. So I really couldn't recommend Natasha enough. And if you're in a spot where you're feeling like there's just too much to do and you're starting to drop the balls left and right and you kind of just want more time, I really just can't recommend Natasha and her work enough.
Thank you so much, Liz. And if you have any questions about how you can set up a specific system in Asana, or just how to set up a system, feel free to drop me an email, and I'll be happy to get back to you. So it's natasha@systemsrock.com, and let's see if we have any questions, and I can quickly check if
Natasha, if for some reason someone isn't on the event page today, can you share the actual URL that people can follow to join the program if they are interested?
Sure. You would like me to share the event page?
I mean, I have lizlocker.com/system will take people to the page where they can join your program.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, because the event page.
LizLockard, LIZLOCKARD.com/system will take you to the page where you can check out more about Systematic Success. But I think we got one question on the event page. bartenderentrepreneur.com would love to hear tips on how to manage a to-do list and assign them to a calendar, and was also wondering if there would be a replay of today's training.
Yes, there will be a replay. The moment that we stop broadcasting, the replay will be available on the same page. So if it's a systematicsuccess20.com, Liz-Lockard-event. And I'll send that link to everybody who registered for the call also. So if you are on the list, that I'll send it together with the templates that I've shared earlier today. But in terms of task management, the place where you will be managing your tasks, and I wish I could share my screen again, but it will be My Tasks, and Asana allows you. Can we do that scary thing? Will I scare everybody if I just, because that's, all right. Okay, for a second it will look scary, but I promise I'm going to take you out of this thing in a second. All right, okay, here I am. Right, can you see my screen again?
Yes.
Okay, terrific. So Tasks you will be managing right here in My Tasks. You can see that Asana breaks them down for you in 4 categories, and these are preset for you. You can create categories in the same way that you create categories for tasks, but these are the categories that Asana has for you. So new tasks are the new tasks that came in. Usually it's emails or something that's been assigned to you. And then you have the category of today, things that you are working on today. There is upcoming, and it does depend on the business, the type of business you are in. But for me, for example, it's something that I need to be taking care of in the next couple of days. And then there is later, which can be anything from kind of like 1 week away to even couple of months, because I can also put stuff that I use to test, so they can be on this list as well. So the way you would manage this task is that, first of all, quick note that the way Asana lists tasks here on this My Task list is not by the due date, is by priority that you assign to a task. So it's really easy for you to, so what you will do, for example, with every new task, you can drag them, or like if you can click on this little dot, you will be able to do the same thing, but assign them to a category. And once you've done that, you see that bold and blue dot go away, and the task gets put into a specific category. But again, select, choose yourself how important that task is, and you will deal with them in order of their importance. So my suggestion is that begin your day with a quick review of your tasks, and make sure that what you have for today are those immediate tasks that you need to be taking care of. We talked about setting tasks to repeat, the ones that you do on a regular basis. So I suggest you do that, so that those tasks are on your list, and you know what needs to be happening when. For example, if on a weekly basis you write a blog post, make sure that that item is on your to-do list, and it's set up to repeat, so that you know when you need to sit down and write that blog post. If you need to follow up, make sure that that's there as well. And actually, what you will notice is that I move my follow-up people all the way to the later category, and this is available actually only in this category later. But if you move that task from new to all the way here, later category, because usually it's very long category, I mean, it has most items. What Asana does is that whenever a task belongs to a project, it will put it for you under the specific project, so this list doesn't look too scary or overwhelming. But when the time comes and the due date, when the due date approaches, then it will actually push it all the way to the top, so you don't forget about it. So with these type of recurring tasks, feel free to put them in later category, and don't worry that you will forget about them, because Asana will remind you. But again, going back to these daily reviews, make sure that you start your day with a review of tasks and your priorities, basically. Try not to add too many tasks to your daily list. It's better to then drag something from the upcoming into today if you have a free time, because first of all, sometimes we're bad at estimating how long something would take. So we have this long list of tasks, but then we get to do only 3 of them, and we feel that we feel behind, and those tasks kind of roll over to the next day, and in the end we have this never-ending to-do list. So avoid that by having this actual reviews where you look at what you can realistically take care of, checking off what's been accomplished, because dragging tasks around so that you know what is more urgent. And at the end of the day, also take a quick look at what's been accomplished today and what you'll be working on tomorrow, so that you don't find yourself in a situation where you feel overwhelmed and like you know that there is a lot to do, but you don't know where you can start. So these are my suggestions. So let me come back and.
Natasha, can you talk a little bit about using something like Asana if you're just yourself in your business versus using something like Asana if, say, you have some help or a small team?
Absolutely. Here is my biggest secret, something that I created recently, and I like kind of impressed with myself. So I created, because I have a very long list of projects. I've been adding them, and some of these projects are actual projects. About 2/3 of them are individual systems. So at some point I was just like, okay, like, this is crazy because I cannot pin them all to the top, and I don't want to be scrolling up and down looking for something that I need. So what I created for myself is this business hub project. And again, it's a simple project, and what I did is that I created these individual categories. It's almost like my business map.
Yeah.
And under each category, I listed a relevant, like in this case, it's task, but here in description, you can see that it's linked to a project. So.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Seriously, it's so simple.
I have the same problem you just talked about. I have like a million things on the side. This is awesome.
See, and in some cases, say clients, you have one project, but say systematic success, there is a whole bunch of them. And you can, if you are, let me see, so Asana for small business, there is another one. So the way you tag projects is all you do is just put the @ sign and start listing. Start typing the name of the project, and Asana will prompt it for you.
Very cool.
So this is super easy, and for somebody who manages her or his Asana by herself or himself, this is super useful because, first of all, it's kind of like summary of everything that you've created in your Asana. You can easily find what you are working on, and also, it's whenever the time comes for you to share your Asana with somebody, it will be very easy for you to then show the structure of your business and share with them the projects that they will be working on. But going back to your question in terms of how to use Asana when it's just you, my recommendation is that first of all, make sure that you regularly check your my tasks list for the tasks that need to happen. Something that I do personally, which works for me really well, is I have weekly schedules, and weekly schedules are slightly different from daily ones, because this is the list of items that I need to do in my business on a weekly basis, basically to sustain it. So this is the bare minimum that needs to happen if I want to be at the same level, basically, that nothing falls through the cracks. And what I did is that I listed everything that I was doing and assigned just this graph amount of time for each item. So these are the tasks that need to happen, but I also have priority items, and these are usually the tasks that move my business forward, whether it's a new project, whether it's a launch, whether it's something else. So roughly, it's top priority items are about 1/3 of my time a week, and 2/3 is the stuff that needs to be happening by me for me to sustain my business, because I do have an assistant, but a lot of what I do in my business is still on me. I'm at the point where I don't really need much help. So if at some point I'll have one more assistant, or Dorothea, my current assistant, will be taking on more, then I will be able to add more stuff to this top priority so that it will be kind of 50-50 ratio. But when you are at the level where you are managing most of your business activities, I would make sure that, first of all, you structure your activities that help you to sustain what you need to be doing in your business, and then slowly add stuff that you do to grow your business. So this is something that helps me to know that I do what I need to do. And I also do weekly reviews just to see what happened, what didn't, because I fall behind as well on some stuff. So if something doesn't happen, if there was something more important, I will put something on the back burner. But what I do during my weekly reviews, I note what keeps pushed back time and time again, and then I know that it needs to be addressed. Whether it will look like hiring somebody to do that, or maybe looking at whether it's that important of a task to have on the weekly task list. So weekly reviews are those strategic meetings that I have with myself to see how I'm doing overall, and this is something that keeps me on track.
Cool. I think that's all the questions that I've seen.
Oops. I promise I'll be back in a sec. Okay.
Just doing a little art project for us.
All right. All right. So let me quickly check on my end as well. Oh yeah, great that you posted that link. All right. So
how long do we have to join Systematic Success?
The card will be open until next Friday, January 29th. We'll be starting February 3rd, the Tuesday after. And it's an 8-week program where during those 8 weeks, so we'll have 3 weeks, I'll be releasing materials 1 week off, during which I will be sharing interviews with experts who'll be pulling back the curtain on their systems. And also I will have calls to address any questions that the participants came up with or struggling. And naturally there'll be a community that they'll be able to ask questions ongoingly. And actually I will keep that community. That community, also the former participants of Systematic Success from the previous rounds will join that community as well. They had a slightly different format without me creating the systems with them directly in Asana. Evernote is another option, but that community is something that I received so many pleasant comments about, because it's always great to have people who are going through similar experiences and sharing their struggles and wins, and act as your accountability partners.
Awesome. Well, I think we've hit time. Do you want to wrap things up, or what do we do if we have questions?
Absolutely. Well, if you have questions, feel free to send me an email, natasha@systemsrock.com. I'll be very happy to answer them. If you are watching this event on the event page, systematicsuccess20.com/Liz-Lockhart.event, then right under this video you will see a button, learn more about Systematic Success 2.0, so feel free to check it out if it's the right fit. And if you're not sure if it's the right fit, feel free to email me and ask for a quick Skype chat. I'll be happy to see if this is the program right for you.
That's awesome. That's really generous. Thanks everyone for attending with us today. I hope you got a lot out of it. I know I did. I have like a sheet full of notes from today. And if you want to check out Natasha's program, definitely do that. She definitely knows her stuff and can really help you create more space in your business.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for being here today, and keep in touch and create systems. It's important. All right. Bye, everyone.